going. Hopefully. I don't know. I gotta go check. How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Pretty good.
Good weekend?
I've been enjoying it.
That's good. That's good.
Got some cleaning done, got some chores done.
Mm-hmm.
Very productive weekend. What about yourself?
Not too productive, but after my work week. But I don't want it. I didn't want to be productive.
You didn't feel like it?
Yeah. Well, because I worked like 50-ish hours this week.
Putting a little extra time.
Yeah, and I didn't sleep great for the whole week, so it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of laze. I mean, I cleaned my house, but I was like, the things that I was wanting to get done, I was like, I'm just gonna laze.
It's good to have a lazy weekend every now and then too.
Yeah. But I started on the closet, cleaning my closet out. So I probably won't do that tomorrow. I'll probably wait till. Oh man, sorry, tired. I'll probably wait till next weekend to finish that up. Because, I'm not gonna be able to bring myself to do it tomorrow.
Okay, well, it's not like it's on a ticking clock or anything, so take your time.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a good weekend otherwise, besides cleaning? Do you take some time for yourself, you know?
Of course, I mean, not like I was doing it the entire time. Did some cooking, did some reading. Pretty relaxing weekend overall.
That's good. Make some good food, eat some.
Oh yeah, I made some parsnip fries.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It was actually pretty good. Nice little French fry, what have you, substitute.
I mean, it's different. They're kind of like, I imagine they taste a bit like sweet potato fries, right?
Pretty similar.
Did you dip them in anything, or just kind of just eat them?
Oh, I had some like some blue cheese, like aioli.
Oh, okay, yeah. I feel like ketchup would not go well with that sweet.
I tried that too. It was actually pretty all right. It's not the worst.
That, because like with sweet potato fries, you can do a marshmallow dip, or you could do like caramel. I guess it depends which way you take the sweet potato fries, but parsnips are they're a little bit more savory, but still got that sweetness to them.
Plus, they're just better for you.
Yeah, they're good, and they're underutilized. You know, a nice parsnip mash or roast parsnips, they're nice. Good sweet potato adjacent alternative.
And when I'm hungry, I can just eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're pretty easy to make, which is nice.
Just toss them in some oil, a little bit of salt, maybe some paprika.
Toss mine in. What's that spice called? The Provence.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking.
Yeah.
Herbs de Provence.
Herbs de Providence, I think, or maybe I'm misremembering them. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, that like rosemary, basil, thyme blend.
Just the classic mix.
Pretty good.
I made hash browns.
Hash browns are good.
Had hash browns and biscuits and gravy. Poached an egg. That's all I've eaten today.
Wait, you just had breakfast?
No, I had brunch.
Okay.
And then I'm not exactly hungry for dinner. So I had an ice cream sandwich. Sustenance.
Just enough to get you going.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if I'm being lazy, I don't get hungry, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah, it's probably a bad combination of laziness and hungerness.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm just kind of sitting around, I can get by with just eating a little bit of stuff. But if I'm at work, even if I'm just sitting around doing nothing, my body's like, put food in me right now. I gotta eat.
I'm just like that all the time.
Well, speaking of being like that all the time, no segue whatsoever. You want to get on to the album?
I'm gonna say, is that referring to the album that we're reviewing, or not? Not really.
Oh well, I'll just roll over. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast.
Yes,
we are now in
back.
the year of the bunny. The year of the frog is over. We decided to go with the Chinese calendar on this one. So still
good to see that the screen's a nice kind of poo brown.
Well, I didn't have time with you to talk about it, so we could change it if you want. But I want something that's not bright. It's like, well, what other colors would you use for bunnies? We could do
I guess white, which is pretty bright.
White or like a dark gray, but then that might make it hard to read the text. Whereas brown is just kind of nice, Think of it as chocolate brown, not poop brown.
That now to think about eating it.
Don't think about eating poop. That's just weird.
I don't want to.
But this week we listened to Fush Yu Mang, if I pronounced that right.
You did.
By Smash Mouth.
By the one and only Smash Mouth.
Mm-hmm. The Shrek Band. I clapped when they played the song.
Oh, actually, they don't have any of the Shrek songs on this one.
No, I specifically wanted to listen to this one because it's got Walking on the Sun, which I believe to be a much better song than All Star.
That's a hot take.
Mm-hmm. Probably not a very popular take.
But one that you stand by?
I will stand by it. I will die on this hill. I will plant my flag and say, hark. I die here on the Walking on the Sun Hill. Who dare oppose me? And then get killed by a wave of probably most of the population who prefer All Star.
I mean, yeah, it's one of their more famous songs. It's not Shrek related, I should say.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I mean, this is their debut album. I would say
really?
it's
Debut? I had no idea.
Yeah, they're their first one released back in 1997.
Pretty solid. I mean, we can roll on into the history then, if you want to.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
Well, I was.
I mean, we don't have to formally say. We can just kind of naturally announce the section. Well, now we'll roll right into the history. But yeah, they're a band, American band, if you didn't know, from San Jose, California. Formed all the way back in 1994. Originally composed of the lead singer Steve Harwell, Kevin Coleman on drums, Greg Camp on guitar, and Paul DeLeese on bass. And actually, DeLeese is the only one who's actually left in the band. Everyone else has since departed. But they've got they had some pretty big hits in the late 90s, early 2000s. Walking on the Sun being their first big one, but of course, Then the Morning Comes, I'm a Believer, All Star, an all-time classic. And they kind of they also composed some some songs for some South Korean animated films, apparently.
Really? I didn't know that one.
So I didn't check out. I just thought that was interesting. But yes, this is their debut album, Fush Yu Mang, which story goes that this is it's taken from the line from Scarface, where he says "fuck you, man," except it's kind of slurred because you can't put that on an album art.
Right. Right.
And yeah, it's features obviously their lead single "Walking on the Sun,"
Mm-hmm.
along a couple others. Um, and actually, they just, I guess not super recently, but back in 2018, they had re-released the album as a 20th anniversary edition, which the version on Spotify had some additional songs.
Yeah, we didn't listen to "Is Your Penis Okay?" Apologies for that.
I mean, I did listen to that song.
Well, we're not reviewing it. I mean,
actually, pretty good song, but we're not reviewing. We're doing the classic
original
1997 discography or track list here. If you want, Sam, we can jump right into.
Yeah, I jump into track number 1.
Track number 1, Flow.
Which, man, I forgot what 90s punk rock sounded like, but yeah, this is 90s punk rock for sure.
I'm not sure. Well, it's got punk undertones. Definitely like leaning towards the ska.
It is, but it is. You can definitely hear the punk.
Yeah, I would say more.
I'd argue it's more punky than ska.
I would say it's a lot more ska than punk.
Although I guess once you add ska, it's kind of what's a good cooking equivalent?
Ska is like mustard.
Yeah. Once you add it,
you can't unadd it.
It's gonna be hard to taste much else.
So it becomes a cosmic gumbo of just. It's definitely the most defining flavor.
Yeah, but it is very punky too. You hear that in the lyrics for sure.
Yeah. In terms of the lyrical delivery of it, it's a lot more of obviously stick it to the man kind of thought through, and it kind of starts with this song. I mean, obviously it's got those chunky guitar riffs, Steve's raspy lead vocals, which you're gonna find all throughout this album.
Got some fun instruments in the background. No trumpet, so it's not true ska, but it's got some airy synth that's mixed pretty far back. That's nice.
That's true. True ska's got some trumpets in there.
Yeah.
But no, this is a pretty. I think in terms of setting the tone, it's a pretty good beginning album.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's normally I'm not too on board with this kind of sound, but it's got some really great variety in the lyrics, and he's going fast. He's saying a lot of words, and it's granted it's only 2 minutes, but it's a pretty solid start to the album, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I think it sets the mood pretty well.
Mm-hmm. We can jump on to track number 2 then.
Yeah, track number 2, Beer Goggles. It's a little more down and dirty into the kind of the punk, I guess, thought process.
They also brought the Beach Boys back.
The Beach Boys?
Yeah, the ooh-woos.
They did have a little bit of ooh-woos at the beginning. I'll give you that.
And they come back at the end. They are Beach Boys reminiscent.
Certainly when to compare Steve's vocals to the Beach Boys.
No. Yeah. But those backing vocals sound like, the classic Beach Boys intro.
All vocalized.
Mm-hmm. I will say this one's the lyricism is a bit weaker. It's kind of more repetitive and what I expect when I listen to a song of this type from this era. It's got a good beat, but there's not a whole lot of growth aside from you get some synth popping up there in the end, and they bring back the Beach Boys-esque harmonies. But overall, it's as the second song on the album. I'm not
lyrically, it's just about him wanting to bang anyone that's willing.
Yeah, but the vocal delivery isn't as varied as Flow. With Flow, the lyrics were varied, the melody was varied. I don't know, just it's missing that little extra ounce.
Oh, but come on, it's got the lyric "even chicks with chicken pox." That's how desperate this man is.
I mean, it's funny. Don't get me wrong, but it's just the song isn't hitting it.
That's fair.
Got anything to add to that one?
Nah, this one's, I think, pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Well, then we're jumping to track number 3.
Track number 3.
The titular, not titular.
Oh, no, it's not titular. The lead single, we can
Yes.
say, of the album, "Walking on the Sun."
Man, it is iconic. You know when it comes on because you get the very early, pianos, dun 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 dun, and then I don't know what it is. It's either guitar with heavy filters or synth, and it is just really dirty. It's really got that. It's got some chest hair on it.
It's a hairy song.
Yeah.
No. I get what you're saying. I mean, even besides all the memes that obviously Smash Mouth is wrapped up in, this is just a solidly built song. I mean, it's a little more low key than the first 2 tracks, but it's got a really infectious chorus. Where Steve's vocals, his more raspy deliveries, kind of paired with his almost deep farty synths, with a pretty relaxed guitar drum background that just kind of breezes through the song.
Well, you didn't mention the other thing that really goes well, Cooper, is you've got that really farty kind of guitar synth thing going on, but then you also have the old 60s, 70s rock organ.
Right.
And those play in duets at parts, and it doesn't seem like it should work, but it works so well.
So yeah, it leads to a nice interplay between the top and bottom.
And the lyrics are fun too. Well, not fun, but they're good. Messages about consumerism, drugs, hypocrisy, very 90s.
Yeah. Apparently they were inspired partly by the Rodney King riots.
Okay.
So Smash Mouth is just trying to get the message out.
I would not. I mean, it sounds very upbeat for that kind of thing, but all right, sure, whatever.
And the lyrics
are
kind of dark.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but it doesn't give that vibe. It sounds very cheery.
That's how they kind of get you.
Mm-hmm. And then around the 2-minute mark, we get that synth that breaks in for a solo, and it kind of provides a good a breaking point for a slightly sensual vocal delivery breakdown.
Is that what you're getting from it?
he kind of I don't know, he's not doing the raspiness. He's kind of bringing the energy down, and then he cranks it back up at the end of it.
I mean, I could say a lot about Steve's delivery. I'm not sure if I would call it sensual, but to each their own. I mean, if that's what you're getting from it, Sam, that's good. That's fine. That's everyone has their own taste.
But yeah, I just love this song. It's such a good song.
No, it's a fantastic single.
We can jump to the next track then, track number 4.
Yes, track number 4, Let's Rock.
Not Let's Dance.
Not Let's Dance. I wish it was Let's Dance.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst. The vocal delivery at the start is very annoying and nasally and mixed weirdly, but that's kind of the point, to make the hard rock section stick out more with the filter coming off and it sounding a lot cleaner. But man, it's for a gimmick song, it's a little too long, I think.
I mean, it basically is a gimmick song where it's like the verse has this kind of chill, nasally beach rocker vibe before it busts into an intentionally over aggressive, guitar chorus. And then it goes back to the relaxed vibes, right? Dichotomy. But it kind of makes both sections more annoying.
Yeah. I mean, the heavy rock sections are nice. I like them. They sound good, but it's just not enough to offset it. But the very end is really nice because it's got some nice harmonies building up and the electric guitar hits just right. But it's a mixed
it's not
bag.
The bouncing back and forth just doesn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of obviously it's trying to lean to the wackiness, but I think that it just makes the whole song suffer. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. Say beyond the two sections, they're made to clash with one another. So when they clash, I'm not surprised. I'm just wish they didn't.
They made some odd choices placing songs where they did on this album. I'll just say that.
I mean, yeah, it's not like this is a concept album by any means.
And it is their first album, so the placement and some of they're still finding their footing.
Yeah, it's a lot more of them, kind of throwing out their first batch of songs.
Yeah. Some of them hit, some of them don't. And the ones, to be fair, the ones that don't aren't that bad, but the ones that do, man, they really hit.
I do think they're pretty good.
Yeah, especially for a first album. It's pretty impressive. Jumping to track 5, if you're ready, Coop.
Yes, track number 5, Heave Ho. Which definitely, it might have the most punk sentiments.
Yeah, I'd say it's getting, maybe there's a little bit of grunge in there too, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say they get a little grungy here.
Not quite dirty enough, but listening to this and then thinking about them as the Shrek band, though, is funny.
That did keep some into my mind. They're like, yeah, F the system band. I'm like, right, you made the soundtrack for Shrek.
Yeah. I mean, they did great, but it's kind of bad that that's all they became known for, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, as much of a meme as they became, you know, they're legitimately, you know, going for the punk vibes on here.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think only 1 or 2 of the songs has trumpet, so that makes them just a decent punk band as opposed to a bad ska band.
I think they're still a decent ska band.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ska certainly, you know, it probably died for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Smash Mouth's fault.
No, absolutely not. And neither was it Goldfingers.
All right, that's definitely ska.
That's one of the best ska songs, I'd argue. But I mean, I've seen ska described as what plays in a 12-year-old's head when they get an extra mozzarella stick, and I feel like that's pretty accurate.
That's pretty accurate, honestly. Now, I'm not going to say that it has just a certain, like, very bright energy.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Heave Ho.
Heave Ho.
I don't know. There's a lot of lyrical variety here, but something about the melodic delivery really doesn't do it for me. It's kind of samey. But after the break at the 2:45 mark, I really like the song. But before that, I'm just kind of I'm so. But once it hits that, it really, you know, gets going.
Oh yeah, I mean the song kind of yeah, you're right. Kind of the first 2/3 are kind of pretty samey, but it has like a little bit of a breakdown at the 2:45 mark.
And it's hard to call it even a breakdown because it doesn't really go away. It just changes.
It brings the aggressiveness,
which I think I would have liked to hear. This mixed with Let's Rock, kind of that hard driving song all the way through. They don't really do that on any of these. It's always kind of sprinkled in.
It has an almost like a screamo moment there at the end.
Mm-hmm. But man, the last third or so of the song, that saved it. That saved it quite big for me, I think.
Just added some serious energy.
So energetic. Very good vocal delivery. The electric guitar, I mean, granted, it's fantastic on every song. Like it really shines later on. I'll point out when it is. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But man, that guitarist really knows how to play. They're no Eddie Van Halen, but
oh yeah, it's not like they're crazy with the guitar, but yeah. I think they definitely get the job done.
They know how to play the style.
Speaking of which, on to track number 6, if you're ready, Sam.
I am.
The Fonz.
This was aptly named.
I'm assuming it's they don't say the word Fonz a lot. Assuming they're referring to the Harry Winkler character.
Most certainly.
But this one's got a little more grunge, like alt rock, like sad boy vibes on it.
Kind of, yeah. They start with the NASA call logs. I don't know if you picked that up. Right at the very start. Says there's a little go ahead Houston
Okay.
call
I'm
log.
not sure what that has to do with the Fonz, though.
Not at all, but it did remind me. I don't think we've done public service broadcasting yet. Their album, The Race for Space.
Oh, well, we'll have to...
we should do that one. We might have to go back and look. We might have done it because I've been listening to this album for years and years, but
I don't believe we did it.
It uses NASA call logs from the Apollo 11 mission.
Yeah, I definitely think I would have remembered that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll send you the big track from it after this, and then maybe we can do that one next week. Or you can pick one since I kind of picked this one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I also like this album as well.
Yeah, honestly, it turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to.
I won't play my hand too much, but I was expecting like Walk on the Sun and then like the rest just to be kind of crappy ska. Yeah. But I've been surprised so far.
I was very pleasantly surprised. However, this one, the guitar and bass are really good quality, but something about the lyrical performance on this one is a bit flat. It just doesn't feel, he's not putting that energy into it that he's done in previous songs. And I was reading the other day about kind of the style. I don't know if you remember, Cooper. It definitely was this way pre-2000, but even quite a bit pre-2008 between the two economic crashes where you didn't care what you looked like. Everything was like, it was holdover from 90s punk, basically. It was kind of like everyone wore baggy stuff and very low energy. And then, once 2008 hit and acting poor wasn't cool, everybody started dressing nice and everything has a little bit more energy. But it kind of gave me that vibe. Granted, it's 97, that's kind of in vogue at the time, but it doesn't work.
You're just mad because he made a reference to the tuba being kind of sucky.
Okay, well, you didn't have to bring that up, but also the fact that it says "You are the Fonz" like 150 times or something.
Oh, they say it louder at the end, though.
Yeah, good variety.
It's called a raising of energy.
Mm-hmm. Just not changing lyrics.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing call and response where the call and response are the same thing.
Yeah, he's calling for the Fonz and they're saying the Fonz.
Yeah. It's not the worst song, but it's certainly not the best.
Well, we can move on to track number 7 then.
Mm-hmm.
Pet Names.
I want you to talk about this one first because I want to see what you say.
Well, the vocal delivery is particularly whiny on this one.
Uh-huh.
And he almost goes into like a B-52 vocal delivery.
Okay, I see where you're coming from.
Kind of like a Love Shack thing going on.
Yeah.
Or like a punk ska beat. Yeah, I don't know what you're wanting me to say beyond that.
Man, I hated this song initially. I was like, man, this is so annoying. It's not very good. The pitch keeps rising. And the guitar solo comes in. And then the vocals come back. And I'm like, actually, you know what? I love this song. This is a great song.
Wow.
The vocal style, I don't know. The vocal style fits really well with the lyrics. I don't know. It's just it's such a good package. His voice, I talk about it later. His voice is iconic, but man, it meshes with the styles he does really well. He's really chameleon in. Even though you can tell it's still him, the changes that he makes to it just do a lot to give variety to the tracks.
I mean, it's definitely a different vocal styling.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's better.
I think it's fun. It won me over. It's
definitely a different approach. I prefer his other vocal stylings on the album, but I mean, it definitely, I will agree, it fits the song. I mean, he's whining about his ex-girlfriend basically, and he's going for an especially whiny delivery.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they're not unaware of it, but So just that little like breakdown where he's like, "You little clouds going away."
It won me over after the guitar solo. I was like, okay, you know, yeah, I'm on board. I like it. It's fun.
I do like all the nicknames he says in it.
Yeah. It just overall, it's a very fun track, and it's not terribly long either. I don't think it overstays its welcome.
Oh no, most of the tracks on here are fairly short.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it won me over. It was gonna be the worst one, but then like a minute in, something just clicked. I'm like, you know what? Actually, yeah, this is great.
You become their audience.
Yeah. Jumping to track number 8, then, if you're ready.
Yes, track number 8, Padrino.
So this one, the first time I listened to it again, I was like, oh man, you know what? I think I've heard this before as well. It starts very low key. It's got a Mexican influence throughout. And it mixes really well, surprisingly, with ska/punk.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's I mean, they give it its due. They have like almost a full minute intro of just Spanish guitar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where they get your attention and they go into the more, ska, fusing it with the ska beat.
And it is, man, I was not when it started with the Spanish guitar, I'm like, okay, how's this gonna work? How's it gonna go? And then it gets into it, and I was bobbing to the beat the whole time. But
I was legitimately impressed. Where I was like, this could have fallen on its face in so many different ways,
and
the fact that they sidestepped it is amazing.
It's incredible. The fact that this honestly, this would be the song I would point to if you were like, oh yeah, Smash Mouth, the Shrek band. I'm like, no, go listen to this. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, where I'm just like, wow, they they've got some talent to be able to pull off some of these, kind of genre bendings.
Yeah. There's thought put into it.
Not that it's, necessarily groundbreaking, but
no, not at all.
But, like again, ska is a very strong flavor.
Yes.
So to be able to mix it successfully with any other sound, is something to be applauded.
Yeah, it came out of left field. I think part of why I'm gushing a little bit about this album is I had really low expectations.
I also went in here thinking like, this is going to be annoying as shit, and it mostly was not. So
yeah, I think that helped quite a bit. It was like going to watch Sonic 2. You had really low expectations, and actually, wow, that was better than the first one.
In that case, you're ready for track number 9 then?
Yeah, we can go into the downfall of the album now.
Yeah, track number 9. Well, I think that's generous. But track number 9, Nervous in the Alley.
Oh, not this song specifically. I'm referring to the next couple of tracks.
I think the song has it kind of carries over some of the Spanish energy from the previous song. Obviously leaning towards more of the ska side. I gotta imagine Steve's vocals are fried following these sessions, right?
Yeah, I imagine it's similar to Matthew Lillard when he started performing Shaggy, where he had to just sit in his car and scream until he went hoarse.
Like he is, maybe he just sounds like this, but it's some hoarse singing.
Mm-hmm. And it's a bit generic, I will say. It's got that fast boppy beat, which I like, but it's just missing the je ne sais quoi, that some of the other songs have had.
A couple of the next ones are a little more B-sides.
Yeah.
I agree. It's clear they don't have like a kind of a central fun theme or idea that they're kind of bouncing off of.
Yeah, this one's got good lyrics, but it's just a little repetitive. It's not as when they've been lyrically as good as they have been. When it gets a little repetitive, it kind of sticks out a bit more.
It's still a pretty decent punk ska song.
Oh yeah,
still got that explosive energy.
Yeah. Jumping to 10 if you're ready.
Yeah, track 10, Disconnect the Dots. Which actually has some brass in it. There you go. There's your ska brass.
Now this is the ska song. And it's got lighter guitar as well, which is nice compared to the heavy parts in this one. It's a very similar beat and delivery to the previous track, though.
The Nervous in the Alley?
Yeah.
wouldn't say. I'd say Nervous in the Alley is a lot closer to Padrino than this song.
Yeah, but it's still quite, it's not different enough. When they've been jumping all over the place like they have been with this, it's like, okay, you're getting a little samey. And I think...
they got the brass stylings. This one's got more of the stacked vocals on the chorus.
Yeah, I think, I don't know what it is. I think it's the tempo and the beat and the delivery. The instrumentals are fantastic in this one. It's as varied as anything else. It's just, I don't know. It got a little... I think it's because these three altogether, including track 11, kind of don't shift up the tempo enough, and the bass beat is kind of just that don't, it gets a little meshes together just a little bit too much for my liking, but
I think they're fairly different.
Yeah.
But I mean, in terms of energy, they're pretty similar. So I can understand that.
I don't like the phone call breakdown. It's unintelligible at best.
I guess you're coming in here for the great wisdom.
Yeah.
That these lyrics present.
But I mean, there's not much instrumental going on at that time of the phone call, so there's really just the phone call, and I thought it was a different language. It took me like 10 seconds to realize it was English.
It's only like 10 seconds long, anyways.
Yeah, it took me most of it to figure out it was English.
The album's called Fush Yu Mang. It's supposed to be slurred.
True. I will always condone the use of brass, though, as they did good on the ska here.
I do like the inclusion of the brass. That was a good choice.
Especially how it builds there at the end is a nice touch. Jump into track number 11, then, if you're ready.
Yes, track number 11, Push. Now, what you're saying about disconnected dots, I said a little bit for push, because it wasn't really about pushing any boundaries on this song.
Oh, good one.
Very big B-side energy.
Yeah, it's not really doing it. It's fast pace. I don't know. I didn't really have anything new to say about this one. It didn't really, because all the rest of the tracks are so varied. And this one just kind of pulls bits from the boring ska parts and puts them in one and pushes them together, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a cool little guitar solo thing. I like the 130 mark. I mean, there wasn't too many of those in other songs.
No, not much guitar solo.
It's just more of it's kind of like more of a passable B-side more than anything. With a kind of annoying vocal ending.
Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely B-side. I'll agree with you there. Jump into track number 12 then, the final track.
Track number 12, the ending track, Why Can't We Be Friends? A cover of the War song.
Yeah. Fun fact, that original version was on my original iPod Classic I had growing up.
Oh, there we go.
So I listened to Why Can't We Be Friends by War all the time.
How much do you think your life would have changed if you had the Smash Mouth version of Why Can't We Be Friends?
I probably would have spiked my hair and gotten frosted tips.
Otherwise, you would have been cool.
Yeah, if I had listened to the Why Can't We Be Friends by Smash Mouth instead, I would be cool now instead of a loser.
You could have been a jerk.
And now everybody loves me.
I mean, this is a cover song.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, of course, I looked at the track list before listening to the album.
Right.
I saw this, I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing a ska cover to Why Can't We Be Friends? Mm-hmm. Let's see how this works. And pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great funk guitar, rock organ, electric guitar. The only thing I'm not the biggest fan of, it's got really fast-paced beat, but he kind of does some stuttering to fill space.
Oh, that's in the original song, anyways.
I guess it's been a long time since I've listened to it. Then I didn't remember that.
Oh, maybe not the repeated word parts.
Yeah, I'm talking about like where he says the same intro part like 3 times. I'm gonna, and like that kind of slows the song. It fights against the fast beat. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but everything else is great about it.
And it's got the brass again. The brass comes back.
Mm-hmm. It feels like a great homage to the original.
Yeah, while also being its own thing.
Mhm.
Actually, it's actually a pretty good cover song.
It is, yeah. It's rarely does a cover song stand its own, and this certainly does. Would I listen to this over the original? Probably not, but it is still very good. And
I
the
mean, you
ending
could
is
definitely put it on someone to be like, "Is this Smash Mouth?"
yeah. It'd take them a second to figure it out. And the ending is really sweet as well because it stacks those vocals of everyone singing "Why Can't We Be Friends," just like the war version. But in this one, they have a children's choir in there too as well, I think, and it just kind of devolves, which I thought was sweet because it was clear they were all in the studio together singing it, and they didn't know when to stop. Like whoever was conducting them just kind of let them do their thing, so they all kind of just trail off, and it's a hot mic. So you just hear little conversations going on. I thought that was a really nice way to end the album.
Honestly, it was a solid ending to an album because obviously they're all being friends in a room singing together, thematically on point.
Yeah,
Actually, pretty rather sweet.
Yeah, surprisingly sweet for Smash Mouth.
I'm getting all butterflies in my stomach over their Smash Mouth's friendship.
Yeah, but that's the album. That's all 12 tracks of the original anyway.
Yeah, pretty tight album. 37 minutes. So Sam, we'll start with what was your favorite track off the album?
I mean, I gotta go with "Walking on the Sun," but Padrino is a close second. Man, that might get added to some lists because that is actually a very, very good track. What about you? What are you thinking?
The same thing. "Walking on the Sun," Padrino. I think were the two standouts on this album.
Yeah,
obviously, "Walking on the Sun," I was kind of expecting that to be pretty up there.
I listen to that all the time, so I knew
that's a pretty good song. But yeah, Padrino would definitely kind of surprised me in terms of their kind of handling of the melding of the genres there.
What about your worst? I think we're gonna differ on this.
Well, mine's "Let's Rock."
Okay. I can see that.
Where like it just leans too far into the gimmicky side of things, and like it makes both sides more annoying. Like I was expecting a lot more of these on this album going into it. Where it's kind of wacky for wacky sake, and then just kind of noisy for noisy sake. So, I'd say I'm a fan. What about you?
I have to go with "Beer Goggles." Lyricism's weak. It's not especially putting that right at the start of the album. I think that's a mistake. It's not got a whole lot going on, which is especially when you're on song 2, that's a little rough. But I think I think overall the structure would have been fixed a little bit if you'd taken "Beer Goggles" and placed it down, like maybe at 11 or 10, and kind of broken up those similar energy beat tempo songs. And while neither of us, I think, really liked "Push," it wasn't bad.
Just kind of boring.
Kind of boring. Well, these definitely have elements. They're like, yeah, this isn't the greatest song. Well, we gotta rate it now, Cooper. We gotta rate the album.
All right. Well, I guess this is the first explanation of the rating of the year, right? Since we didn't do it on our overall review episode. So, I mean, here at the auto shop, we love to drive cars on roads. Which we never talk about the roads enough.
That's right. We don't.
What is a car without a road? It's just it's still a car.
A metal coffin.
It's a metal coffin. Very bumpy. You'll lose your suspension immediately. So let's give a little round of applause for the roads. But like roads, albums are like roads, where there's some good roads and there's some roads with potholes. See, that was a good segue into our rating system because we rate our albums on a scale from showroom to scrap.
Don't pull a hamstring stretch in there, Coop.
It's already pulled. I'm in terrible pain. At the tip top, you got the cream of the crop. That's the showroom, which this is just this is like masterpiece albums that you got to show everyone. Or all the way at the bottom, you've got Scrapyard, which is you get it away from me. just it's probably best represented by the color of the screen. You just kind of poop brown. Just
Hey, it's a
gross.
nice warm brown.
Um, but and then we have like new, used, rental, fixer upper in between. We'll give it like a high or a low, kind of depending on our mood. So with that said, Sam, what is your rating for this album?
I think I'm going to give it. I think I'll give it quite. I'm on the fence. I think I'll give it quite a high fixer upper. Maybe a really low like new. I'm trying to temper my low expectations with it. You know what? I'm gonna say a low like new. I think it broke those boundaries, and overall,
It overcame expectations and perhaps stereotypes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that everyone has to listen to it, but I'd say it's a pretty fun listen if you're in the mood for it. What about you? What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm also in agreement. A low like new. I kind of came into this, expecting, it to be middling to kind of mediocre to bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I was rather impressed. No, not the best album we've ever reviewed.
No.
I don't think it's going to make anyone's top 10 lists. But I mean, they had a sound.
Mm-hmm.
They played on it. They genre bent it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And they were largely successful in pulling off, there's so many ways this could have gone wrong. It's what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes, every minute.
And it largely did it. And I'm rather impressed that they were able to kind of toe that. Right. This wasn't kind of, a soft rock. If it's a bad song, it's at least, kind of sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a bad song, this would be in your face bad. And they managed to largely avoid that and create quite a few songs that I was, kind of tapping my feet to, kind of enjoying.
Yeah.
So, not a perfect album, but certainly, it's like going to a restaurant that just looks like a crap hole. There you go in, you're like, wow, this food's actually pretty good, for a decent price.
Yeah.
So, maybe my stereotypes of Smash Mouth, that says more about me than it says about them.
True. Yeah. Well, I think they kind of grew into the stereotype.
Right. This is the review. This is pre-Shrek.
Yeah.
I can't really say anything for what happens after 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Overall, I thought it was an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, quite a good album. And with that, we're going to roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to the past week. So, Cooper, what have you been listening to?
I've been listening to a little bit of a smattering of things. I listened to Janet Jackson's album, The Velvet Rope.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good album. The song "Together Again" is just a bop, just a delightful listen. And then been also listening to a little bit of Flying Lotus, his albums Pattern plus Grid World and Cosmogramma, which I liked both of them. Very kind of psychedelic,
Mm-hmm.
glitchy at times, beat albums. That's some really good production value. What about you, Sam? What have you been listening to?
I've been a little bit all over the place, catching up on podcasts quite a bit while I've been driving since I've been miserable at work. And when I drive home, I don't want to listen to music because I just want to be sad. Recently, I've listened through Asian Dreamer and On Guitar all the way through. Been listening to a bunch of YMO again and my Hot Girl Summer playlist because it's the angriest playlist I have, or the most energetic, even though it is the dead of winter. So I've got some things I'm planning to listen to this week. I need to do the King Gizzard albums that I started and then I didn't finish. And then I've also got what's their name? It is Crimson Child. I was recommended them, so I'm going to give them a listen as well. I'm going to try to anyway. I'm not going to be at work much this week because I worked 50 hours or so this past week, so I'm not going to show up much this week.
Yeah, get a little rest here.
And if I'm at home, I watch YouTube and just stare at the screen.
While visions of ska play in your head.
Mm-hmm. Visions of trumpets dance in my head. All right. Well, that's the podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. If you liked what you heard and you're watching on Twitch, you can scroll down into the description below. And there's a picture of Jeff Lynn. He's the guy with the aviators and the fake perm. And you click it. That'll take you to YouTube where all the past episodes, minus the one Supertramp, are. And if you're on YouTube and you want to listen to us live, 8 p.m. Eastern, most Sundays. We'll see if we can beat half the weeks this year. Last year was a bit chaotic, but we're 2 for 2 this year.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Although day 1 was a Sunday, so we're already our max.
That doesn't count.
New Year's Day, we're not doing a New Year's Day show. Come on,
holidays don't count.
Yeah, exactly. And then what about Twitter, Cooper? If that still exists, does it? I haven't checked.
It does so far. So they can follow us at Audio Shop Pod. That's POD. We'll let you know what album we're listening to and when we're listening to it. So drop us a follow there.
Alrighty. Well, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
See you later, shoppies.
See you.